if you look at the age groups and you stratify between children, teens, young adults,
Yes.
it's very similar to every year influenza in Japan and America kills tens and tens of thousands of people. And if you look at that breakdown, it's pretty similar to COVID, where the elderly, when you get older, you have a hard time recovering from these diseases. You're immune and you have an easier time to catch it. Your immunity is lower than it was when you were a child. You're more susceptible to, especially any respiratory disease. Influenza can turn into pneumonia, or whatever it turns into pneumonia, very, very fatal. In Japan, people, I think, have a pretty good diet, and the longest lived or the longest age expectancy in the world. Some places in Japan have the largest percentage of centenarians, or people over 100 years old. And those are the people of Okinawa. I'm sure diet has a lot to do with it. And when you compare to America, there's a mix of so many cultures there. So I think it's important, if you have a well-balanced diet, your immune system is going to be up, and you're going to be in a better chance not to catch that disease, even if you're exposed to it.
I read in an article that the Chinese doctors do intravenous vitamin C drip. When this COVID-19 thing happened, I took my husband to our facial center and I said, stick him with vitamin C.
What they're saying right now, it's a study that came from London, and they're saying that COVID-19 is not a respiratory issue. It's an immune system issue.
Immune system, yeah.
I believe that. Yeah.
And in New York, that's what they're doing. They're actually giving the patients mega dosages of vitamin C.
One of my friends who's an MMA fighter and in super good health, but he does an IV megadose of 10,000 milligrams, but he does that once a week. It definitely helps. And they say vitamin D is also, and so we're taking it.
Vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important. Sunning yourself in the morning. The head of the armed forces, when he got sick, he was asymptomatic. So he just stayed home and he sunned himself, and suffice it to say, he got well.
I suppose now the responsibility for keeping safe is as much on the individual as it is on the government, because the government can only do so much. And as Grace said, it takes a village to look after a village. So everybody's got to do their part. Most basic of all these responsibilities is to make sure that you're okay. Some of the things that we talked about, first of all, offered by Rikki, which made perfect sense, is there's got to be a travel ban, because we can't go around at the moment and pick up the virus and bring it somewhere else.
And about the travel ban, it has to be an advanced action. An American scientist was saying that during a pandemic, you have to overreact. You have to overreact because of exponential reasons, which was pointed out by Greg Stan a while ago. And in the Philippines, I really just want to say that the travel ban was really needed.
It's also economic, because America's ties to China are so strong business-wise, and you have a lot of big companies in America that do a lot of business back and forth, and so you have that side of it, and then you have the political side. But the travel ban was supposed to go into effect, and president only has so much power. It has to pass through the Congress and also the Senate. The American system did not want to do it. I'll just say that at first, and they were really against the travel ban. The average person didn't know, but they thought maybe it's good, and we just didn't have a lot of information.
Yes.
But you're exactly right. The travel ban would have been even quicker. It obviously would have been a lot better. Yeah. But rather than blame people, I think we just need to learn from that. We didn't do this right, and next time this happens, let's all get together. Right. And now we as humanity needs to, there's countries on the continent of Africa that the Philippines seem like a rich nation compared to them. They're much worse off than you are. Right. Places that don't have running water, don't have proper sanitation. When they get sick, it's a death sentence. We, as a world population, need to go outside of our own countries and help other countries to get over this. Not only is that good for humanity, but we might learn something.
Rikki also mentioned targeted testing, but with the caveat that testing is only half the battle. It lets you know it's what you do after you've tested that's also very important.
Those two are a tandem, because at the end of the day, you would like to build a history about how the virus moves. For me, the best really is what the Japanese did, which is hire contact tracers. Because the contact tracers have the history, they know the movement of the virus. So what you need is something like that. Contact tracing and testing. If your attack is blinded, you don't know where to start, then you do that. But with the Japanese, they knew where to start because of the 50,000 or more contact tracers who have been there in every health centers for the past, 4 or 5 years? You need this history.
The whole data set from contact tracing to testing, the whole data set is what you, the more data that you have,
data is what you need.
But it's a comprehensive package, I think, and each part is important. And then, like what Rikki said, once you're tested positive, it's mandatory quarantine. This is a novel virus. We know what it is, but we don't know about any of its genetic mutations yet because it's already genetically mutated. And as things mutate through natural select, the virus wants to survive. So it mutates so it can survive in warmer climates or younger, older people. But it's already mutated.
That's why, Greg, son, the best that I see for now actually is, never mind the virus, keep your body healthy. The 4 countries that really have the lowest casualties are Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, and South Korea. What is the common denomination? They're like rabbits. They eat a lot of vegetables.
We also need to consider cultural factors. Greg mentioned his family being Italian, infused with the Latino passion for closeness and touching, and which we also have as Filipinos because we're a very touchy-feely culture as well. Same thing for the Latinos in South America. I think there's got to be an adjustment, some kind of a sacrifice, hopefully a temporary adjustment to prevent the spread of the virus.
In the Philippines, we do this, and then we do.
Oh yeah, it's a new thing. Not everybody accepts it or does it though. It's a proposal from, I think it was Marikina who proposed it, right? It's not yet accepted. It's not yet practiced, but it is a good idea. But again, it will involve having to distance ourselves from each other.
A lot of my friends are in America now. They do this. They do an elbow thing like that. Whether they touch or not, but they don't touch elbows. And so maybe they should be farther apart. I think, like Angelo said, it's a learning thing that we're going to have to make adjustments for.
And finally, just to wrap things up, also mentioned here was the wellness factor. So staying healthy, staying well. It's also very important. Rikki mentioned vitamin C megadoses, and Greg mentioned that vitamin D is also very important. But the other thing that we were not able to talk about was also keeping yourself sane. Mental health during these times when we're apart from each other. Because for some people, staying apart is really a problem. It's an issue for them. And so what needs to be done is for these people to find ways of staying in touch with other people, find ways of not brooding too much about problems. And then for other people to reach out to these people also. We've got the technology to do that now. In fact, we're using it right now.
Huge problem now in the United States is that suicides are on the uprise, and mental health overall, the problems are just increasing. And one of the papers I was reading is it's a combination of factors, not just obviously it's a fear of dying, fear of your loved ones coming down with it. Not only that, but having businesses closed down. People have been out of work for 3 or 4 months. They're
the anxiety of it all.
It's anxiety, and then there's a lot of people now that don't know if they're going to have a job to come back when their company does reopen. So there's a multitude of factors. Mental health obviously has an effect on your immune system, and if you're down and you're not eating correctly, it's a terrible cycle.
It's going to take its toll on you.
Of course, wanted to thank you for inviting me today, but I just wanted to compliment you on just the structure of doing this. I think not bringing politics into discussion. If it would have been a political discussion, I might not have done this just because it might be all anti this or anti that. And that's not helping our discussion on COVID. So I don't think you're going to get a good discussion like we had today of COVID if you bring politics into it. That's just my opinion. So
thank you. Thank you.
Great format.
Thank you very much, Greg.
We did discuss that beforehand, and
yes,
I'm glad that we were able to stick to it.
It's going to be endless.
Thank you so much. Rikki and Greg and Machi-san, your inputs have been amazing.
Yes,
wonderful,
thank you very much.
Very insightful, and hopefully This will help clear a lot of things with a lot of people, and hopefully they'll take what we've put together to heart, and it will help them cope with the current situation.
First, thank you so much to my high school buddy Grace for inviting me here. It's been a very interesting afternoon, and it was really nice to meet Greg and Mrs.
Machi
Greg.
son.
Yeah, and nice to meet you too, Angelo. And I would want to ask people to please go visit our website, GMA Kapuso Foundation. We are a media foundation, and our mother company is GMA Channel 7, one of the top networks of the Philippines. And we run a media-based foundation, nonprofit, non-stock. And right now, we're in the middle of our COVID distributions in the Visayas for Cebu Province, Samar, and Ormoc, Leyte. So for those of you who want to help, please go to our website and then do donate, because we distribute protective equipment to public hospitals. These are public municipal hospitals, so we can control the death rate, and so we can increase the recovery rate in our provinces. Not everybody can afford to go to Manila and to have themselves seen in big hospitals, you see. And we also need your donation so that we can afford to buy more family grocery packs for poor Filipino families who have been hard hit by COVID-19. So thank you so much.
Thank you.